Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings for Friday, January the 20th. Got a decent sized Friday night slate, 9-gamer tonight, so, as always guys, we're going to give a quick game-by-game breakdown, what I do like taking a first look at this slate on Thursday night. Going to go through each team and kind of just, break down each team quickly, but before we do get started with the breakdown, as always, if you guys do enjoy these DFS videos, and if they do help you out, please hit that like button down below. I always appreciate the likes. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And if you guys are new to the channel, go check out PrizePicks, sponsor of the video. You guys can sign up for PrizePicks, use my promo code Noah. You will get your first deposit matched up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. PrizePicks, if you never heard about PrizePicks, they're a player prop site, so you're just taking more or less on a player's projection. They do have some projections posted for Friday's games. I think they're a little bit behind right now because their site actually crashed on Thursday night. They ran a free square promo. I don't know if any of you guys were able to get anything in for it. I was able to get my entry in for it, but they ran a free square promo for 15 minutes on Thursday night, and so many people were trying to play on the site that I think it crashed the site. But it looks like it's back up and running now. They do have some projections posted for Friday's games, and they're supposed to be running another free square promo for Friday. So be on the lookout for that. There should be a promo on Friday since the site went down Thursday night. Again, if you guys aren't playing on PrizePicks yet, get signed up over there. Use that promo code Noah when you sign up, and you will get your first deposit matched up to $100. But let's go ahead and talk through Friday's slate. Start off with the first game of the night, the Pelicans and the Magic. And this is one that I'm not super interested in. We'll start off on the Pelicans side. So still no Zion, no Brandon Ingram for the Pelicans here. CJ McCollum's going to have a really big role, really big usage rate, going to play really big minutes. Matchup, I think, is pretty favorable as well against Orlando. CJ's kind of had some tough matchups lately against Miami, against Cleveland. This is definitely a bounce-back spot for him against a Magic team that I know has given up some big games to point guards this season. It's a 9-game slate, so I don't think CJ is like a standout play. But at 8,700, with his price tag coming down, with the matchup being pretty favorable, I think CJ is definitely in play today. Jonas Valanciunas, we've seen his minutes be a little bit higher lately. He played 35 against Cleveland, only played 25 last game against Miami, but that was a blowout, and he might have gotten into foul trouble in that game. I honestly can't remember, but I think this matchup against Orlando is definitely good. For J-Bow here, if they're going to continue to play him upper 30s minutes, he's got big time upside. But we have seen there be a little bit of his minutes can fluctuate. He can play 35 one game, then he can play 25, then he can play 30, then he can play 24. It's just, you never really know with J-Val, but he is a player that does have a lot of upside when he does get the minutes. So in GPPs, I think he's worth taking a shot on. I think his ownership will be really low today. And then Najee Marshall, I believe, he is questionable, so this will be something to monitor. If Najee Marshall does not play, not sure who would start and play some Najee Marshall. It could be so Herb Jones has been out lately. If Herb Jones returns, obviously he would probably be back in the starting lineup, I would think. And they would just keep Dyson Daniels in the starting lineup. But if Herb Jones is out and Najee Marshall's out, then the starting lineup would probably be CJ, J-Val, Trey Murphy, Dyson Daniels, and then I don't know who the fifth starter would be. Could be Jackson Hayes. They could go with Larry Nance, but I doubt they go Larry Nance. It probably would be Jackson Hayes, I think. Maybe Jackson Hayes, if he winds up starting here for Marshall at 3K, he could be a decent value play. I know last time he started, he did pretty well. I think it was this game against Indiana. He started that game, put up 35 DK points in 31 minutes. So, yeah, I'd be interested in Hayes if he winds up starting. They could go with maybe Alvarado. He's really cheap. He's 4,600. If he winds up starting, you could maybe go there. We'll just have to wait and see, with the Pelicans. And then on the Magic side, I don't see too much I like on the Magic here. Franz Wagner, I believe, is questionable. He is questionable for this game. I don't know if Franz Wagner being out, even if he does get ruled out, I don't know if that impacts too much here. Obviously, Paolo Banchero would have a little bit of a higher ceiling, a little bit of a higher floor. At 7,600, I think Banchero is fine. He's playable, but I'm not running to roster him on this slate. I think Markelle Fultz would get a little bit of a boost if Wagner's out. He would be a playable option. But I really don't see myself running to roster mini Magic here. There's just a lot of other teams that are shorthanded that we'll talk about. There's some value for some other teams, so I don't see myself really loading up on any Magic on a 9-game slate. So we can move on to the next game, the Warriors and the Cavs. So for the Warriors today, they're on the second night of a back-to-back. They had an overtime game against Boston on Thursday night, so we're definitely going to have to pay attention to the injury report here for the Warriors. We've seen them rest a lot of guys on back-to-backs. They can maybe rest some guys here. Don't know if they will. Klay Thompson, I don't think has played a back-to-back this season, so I'm guessing he will be out this game. I don't think he's played a back-to-back this year, so Klay will probably be out. They did actually start Jordan Poole over Kevon Looney last game, or on Thursday, and they said that's going to be the starting lineup moving forward. Now, obviously, if Clay's out today, Poole would start anyway, and that would probably mean that Looney would be back in the starting lineup. But if the Warriors are, even if Clay's out, like if the Warriors have everyone else, I don't see too much I like on Golden State here. This team in the matchup against Cleveland, they're not a team I really like to target when, going up against a Cleveland team that's good defensively, that plays at a slow pace. Curry always has upside. He had a pretty big game on Thursday night against Boston. Matchup, though, I don't love. I think Curry's playable, but I'm not running to roster him. I think the same could be said for Jordan Poole. If Clay's out, he's playable, but I'm not running to roster him. Draymond, Wiggins, both feel priced about right. Looney, not super interested in. I just don't see much on the Warriors I like here. But again, second night of a back-to-back, so there could be some guys that get ruled out for Golden State. I think for sure Clay's probably going to be out. Maybe they rest Steph. Maybe they rest Draymond. We'll just kind of have to wait and see. But then on the Cleveland side, big news to keep an eye out for Cleveland is the status of Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell was out last game. Obviously, biggest beneficiaries without Mitchell are most likely going to be Garland and Karis LeVert. Garland had a really big game last game, played 39 minutes, had 58 DraftKings points. His price tag didn't even move. He's still 8,100. So I think in a pace-up spot against the Warriors, if Mitchell is out, I do have interest in Darius Garland. I would have interest in Karis LeVert as well. He would start, play huge minutes. He played 42 minutes last game. Obviously, 5,400. Way too cheap for LeVert here if we assume Mitchell sits again. And then Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. Jared Allen's actually gotten a big boost this season without Mitchell. He didn't have that great of a game last game, but that was a really tough matchup against Memphis. Don't think this is the best spot against Golden State either, but I think Jared Allen is playable today. I think Mobley is playable, but I'm really looking to the guards from Cleveland. If Mitchell's out, really like Garland, really like LeVert. If Mitchell plays, then I'm not super interested in really anyone on Cleveland. So I think that does it for that game. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one, Miami and Dallas. So for Dallas today, Christian Wood already been ruled out for this game, and I think Tim Hardaway Jr., he's probable. So Tim Hardaway Jr. expected back. I think he's been out like the last couple of games. With Christian Wood out, that does obviously open up more usage for Luka, more usage for Spencer Dinwiddie and Tim Hardaway. Matchup here against Miami, I don't love. It's not the best spot for Luka, but man, without Wood, we can expect an even bigger role, bigger usage rate for Luka here. 12,400 is definitely an appropriate price tag for Luka in a tough matchup like this, but if a ton of value opens up on this slate, I have no issue paying up for Luka just because we know he's had terrible games lately, and he still put a 42 and 44. Obviously, if he puts up 44 DK points, you're not going to be very happy, but the floor on Luka is just so high. A bad game from him is like 45, 50. So I think at 12-4, Luka's still viable. Dinwiddie and Hardaway, I'm not as interested in. And then with Christian Wood out, that does open up some minutes for the bigs. I assume Dwight Powell is going to be the guy that gets a lot of the minutes. Now, Dwight Powell this season, even in games where he has started, he's not been that productive, and this matchup's pretty terrible. So even with Christian Wood out, I'm not super interested in Dwight Powell today. I'm probably just going to be avoiding the Dallas bigs as a whole. Powell has not been he used to be a pretty good permanent producer, but lately he's just last few seasons, he's really not been that good on a permanent basis. So not super interested in Powell, even with Wood out today. Just don't know if the upside's really there, especially not in this matchup. So that'll do it for Dallas. And then on the Miami side, Miami's fully healthy now. They have all their guys back. Bam is healthy. Butler, Hero, Lowry are all healthy. I don't see much I like here. The price tags are coming down a little bit. Bam's 8,400. Butler's 8,300. Hero's 67. Lowry's 5,100. Lowry feels really cheap at 5,100, but I know last game he was on a little bit of a minutes limit. Only played 22 minutes. If he's not on a minutes limit today, then maybe we can go to Lowry, but I think they might be keeping him on a limit until at least for a few games, just kind of get him fully healthy. So Lowry's tough to go to, assuming he's still going to be limited. And then Bam and Butler and Hero, where they're priced at, I don't love any of them. I think they're always playable for GPPs. But for me, as a guy that plays just one lineup in NBA, I don't see myself really getting to anyone on Miami in my one lineup at least. So let's go ahead and move on to the next game, the Knicks and the Hawks. So we'll start off on the Knicks side. Big news here for the Knicks is that Mitchell Robinson will be out for this game, and that is going to open up some good value. I assume that Isaiah Hartenstein will start in place of Mitchell Robinson. Isaiah Hartenstein is minimum salary on DraftKings. Hartenstein's a really good per-minute producer. He's not played a ton of minutes this season, but that's just because he's been the backup to Robinson. But I know in the games that Robinson has missed this season, Hartenstein was pretty good in those games. His minutes were pretty solid as well. I think at 3K, assuming he starts, Hartenstein is going to be a really good value play today. Definitely, a guy that I would consider, just kind of locking in. Now, on the other, looking at the rest of the Knicks, though, Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson, RJ Barrett, we know these three guys are going to play massive minutes on a nightly basis. Tibbs is playing these guys like 40 minutes a night right now. Matchup here against Atlanta, I think is fine. Like, Atlanta's defense has not been super strong this season, so I think Randle, after kind of having a disappointing game last game against Washington, definitely poised to have a bounce back game here. I don't have an issue with Randle in 9,800. Not a standout pay up option, but I think he is playable. Jalen Brunson, man, he's been so good lately. He's just been doing everything, scoring, getting rebounds, getting assists. He's been playing massive minutes as well. Probably going to get guarded by DeJounte Murray. Not the best matchup for Brunson. The price tag's also come up to 8,600, but the dude's playing 40 minutes a night, and he's a good per-minute producer, so like the upside's always there when he's playing this many minutes and when his usage has been as good as it is. Price tag, though, doesn't make him a standout play. RJ Barrett is 6,500. I don't mind. He's going to play like 35, 40 minutes. I think he's priced about right, but I think there's some upside here. Wouldn't be surprised if one of these guys has a good game. I don't really know which one it's going to be, but again, Randle, Brunson, Barrett, they're going to play close to 40 minutes if it's a close game, so there's upside for really all those guys. But the rest of the Knicks, I'm not super interested in. Again, we'll need to monitor the starting lineup. I'm assuming Isaiah Hartenstein will start and play some Mitchell Robinson, but I guess if they wanted to, they could play Randle at the 5 and then just start like quickly or something, but I have a good feeling it'll probably be Hartenstein that draws the start. And again, if Hartenstein starts, he's going to be a really good value. Now, on the Atlanta side, looking at the Hawks, big news to keep an eye on here is Trae Young, who is questionable for this game. Trae Young did get injured in their last game against Dallas, but he wound up returning, and he was able to play through the injury. Given that he played through that injury last game, I think he'll be good to go for this one, but we'll have to keep an eye on it. Obviously, if Trae is out, DeJounte Murray is going to be a really good play at 7,800. DeJounte is definitely underpriced here, assuming that Trae does not play. Even if Trae plays, like 7,800 for DeJounte, I think that's the cheapest he's been like all season. I don't think he's been below 8K all season. Yeah, he hasn't been below 8K all season. So DeJounte, I definitely like today at the price tag. I think this is a little bit of a cheap price. We know he's going to play huge minutes on a nightly basis. His per-minute production has been a lot better lately. You look at the game log, 49, 51, 48 DK points over his last 3 games. The minutes are there. The price tag's favorable. Do like DeJounte quite a bit today, and obviously DeJounte would be a really good play if Trae got ruled out. Now, if Trae plays, I think Trae at 9,400 kind of looks appealing here. Obviously, going up against the Knicks, there's obviously a narrative, Trae facing the Knicks, but, the narrative I don't think is as strong when he's not playing, like, in the Garden. But Trae, we know, has massive upside, can put up a big game any night. Matchup here, I think, is fine for him as well. So, 9,400 for Trae, fine. I would rather play DeJounte, though, for this, given the savings, given how much cheaper he is. And then the rest of Atlanta, John Collins, not super interested in. Clint Capella's been on a minutes limit lately and been coming off the bench. I think until Capella moves back into the starting lineup, we're probably just going to, probably just not going to be able to play him in DFS. Once he moves back in the starting lineup, though, and there's no minutes restriction, I think 5,400 would definitely be too cheap for Capella if that were to be the case. But right now, we don't really have any news on that, so not super interested in him. Him and Okongwu have just been like splitting the center minutes lately, so I really don't want to go to any of the Atlanta bigs. And then Bogdan Bogdanovic is questionable. I don't know if there's going to be really any value that opens up if Bogdan sits, but you would just expect an even bigger role for Trae, even bigger role for DeJounte if Bogdan got ruled out. Maybe DeAndre Hunter's minutes become more secure, and maybe he gets a little bit more upside, but again, not seeing much value from Atlanta, even if Bogdan does sit. So let's move on to the next game, the Clippers and the Spurs. We'll start off on the Clippers side. So for the Clippers today, Kawhi and PG are both back for this game after resting last game. With Kawhi and PG both playing today, obviously matchup here against the Spurs is really good. The Spurs are a terrible defensive team. They play at a fast pace. I wouldn't be surprised if one of Paul George or Kawhi has a good game here, but given their price tags, I'm not really interested in either one. I think they're both kind of overpriced right now when they're both healthy. I feel like Kawhi should be like 9K, PG should be like 8K. These price tags just, in my opinion, are a little bit too high for my liking. And then Norman Powell, obviously, he takes a hit with Kawhi and PG back. Not really interested in him. I mean, honestly, I'm not interested in many Clippers today. I think the one guy from the Clippers I could see playing would be Zubac, just because the matchup here against San Antonio is pretty favorable. San Antonio has given up some big games to centers this season. Zubac has had success in this matchup, and we've seen the minutes be pretty good for Zubac lately. Last game against Utah, that was a blowout. He didn't play at all in the fourth quarter. But the previous game against Philly, he played 35 minutes. Against Houston, he played 30. If we get 30-plus minutes from Zubac against the Spurs, like he's got 35, 40-point upside. And 5,500, that's a reasonable price tag. I do have some interest in Zubac today, but that's really it from the Clippers. And then on the other side with the Spurs, Not liking much from the Spurs here. Not the best spot against a pretty good Clippers defense. Keldon Johnson obviously going to have a really big role without Devin Vassell, but I think he's priced appropriately for this matchup. I think Trey Jones is priced appropriately. Jakob Poeltl, probably my favorite play from San Antonio. I think the Clippers are a team that you can beat like down low. We've seen them give up some big games to centers. Zubac has never really been like the greatest defender. And Poeltl's minutes have been pretty good lately. Last game, he did get into foul trouble, but the game before that, he played 31 minutes, and he might have even, I think he lost some minutes in that game because of foul trouble as well. You know, if we're getting like 30, 32 minutes from Poeltl, at 6,300, he's a really good permanent player. He's a guy that can produce when he's on the floor. He's got 40, 45 point upside when he's playing 30-plus minutes. And I know he's been on the trade block lately, so maybe the Spurs are trying to like showcase him. They want to give him minutes right now to just show him off. So I think Poeltl, probably my favorite play on San Antonio. Not really considering any other Spurs though, I don't think. So we can go ahead and move on to the next game, talk about the Pacers and the Nuggets. So for the Nuggets today, Nikola Jokic coming in at 11,600. Really like this spot for Jokic against Indiana. We've seen Indiana be another team that has just given up a lot of big games to centers this season. They've really struggled on the glass as well. For what it's worth, I don't know why Jokic only played 20 minutes against Indiana last game, but he only played 20 minutes last time these teams played. Still put up 44 DraftKings points in 20 minutes. Looks like he was in foul trouble. He had 5 fouls in 20 minutes, but clearly the matchup is favorable here. As long as he avoids foul trouble, I think Jokic plays 34, 35 minutes. I do worry about blowout a little bit. This Pacers team without Tyrese Halliburton, they're not very good. But if this game stays close, Jokic offers a ton of upside. He's definitely my favorite play on the Nuggets today. Not really interested in many other Nuggets though. Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, MPJ, where they're priced at on this slate, I'm not super interested in any of them. And then on the other side with the Pacers, so it's a really scary spot for Miles Turner. Miles Turner, has a ton of upside when he's, playing full minutes and when, he's not in foul trouble and stuff like that. Last game was just a massive blowout. The Pacers lost by 20. Miles Turner only played 20 minutes. But the 2 games before that, 36 minutes, 34 minutes. When he's getting those type of minutes, Turner can put up huge games. And obviously without Tyrese Halliburton, there's plenty of upside for him. Now, my one concern is that, I worry about blowout here. Also, I worry about foul trouble going up against Jokic. But, man, if the Pacers can keep this game close, if Turner can avoid foul trouble, he can, put up a huge game. And he actually did pretty well against Jokic earlier this season, put up 40 DK points in 25 minutes. So, I don't mind Miles Turner today as a GPP option. The rest of the Pacers, like Buddy Hield, not super interested in it, his price tag. TJ McConnell, been coming off the bench. Minutes have been pretty decent, even coming off the bench. And McConnell has been producing at a really high rate lately, but now that his price tag is where it's at 5,800, and given it's a 9-game slate, I don't really see myself going to McConnell at 5,800. I think I would rather roster Andrew Nembhard for cheaper. He's 5,300. He's point guard and shooting guard eligible, and we saw him last game, kind of find a spark. Finally had a big game. Played 27 minutes. He did get some extra garbage time run, but 27 minutes, 39 DraftKings points. We saw Nembhard be really good earlier this season in the games that Halliburton missed. Lately, he's not been that good, but last game he looked pretty good against OKC. 5,300 is definitely cheap for Nembhard. I think he will play pretty big minutes here as long as the game does stay close. They've been playing him and McConnell together, whereas before those 2 guys were basically just splitting the point guard minutes. As of late, they've been playing those 2 guys together, so that definitely boosts the floor and ceiling for Nembhard, especially his minutes, floor and ceiling, when he's able to play with McConnell. So Miles Turner, Nembhard, probably my 2 favorite plays on Indiana. Don't see myself going to really anyone else though on this Pacers team. So let's go ahead and move on to the next game. We got 3 more late night games to hit. So Brooklyn and Utah. We'll start off on the Brooklyn side. It's a back-to-back for Brooklyn, so we're going to have to monitor their injury report. I know Kyrie Irving, sat out recently against San Antonio. He was on the injury report as probable for Thursday's game. He obviously wound up playing. Wouldn't be surprised if they rest Kyrie Irving here on a back-to-back, so this is going to be something to monitor. For now, we just kind of have to assume that everyone's playing, but keep an eye on this. Kyrie, if he does play, at 9,900 in this matchup against Utah, I think Kyrie's fine. He's going to have a really big role, play really big minutes. He's really not been that good, though, lately without Kevin Durant. At the time I'm making this video, it's halftime of the Nets-Suns game on Thursday night, and Kyrie didn't have the greatest first half, so really weird to see him struggling as much as he is right now with so much usage and stuff, but I feel like a big game is coming at some point for Kyrie. Just really don't know when it's going to happen. If you want to go to Kyrie, I think it's fine, but I wouldn't consider him my favorite pay-up option. Nicholas Claxton, really good matchup for him. We've seen Utah get killed by centers this season. Utah's been giving up a lot of big games to centers, so I think the spot's pretty good for Claxton. The price tag at 7,400 is definitely pretty steep. You know, you're paying the premium for him right now, but the upside is there in this matchup. And I think without Kevin Durant, there's definitely more secure minutes for Claxton, more rebounding opportunities. I think his upside is a little bit higher playing without KD. I think the upside for Ben Simmons is a little bit higher without KD, but it's 7K. I'm not super interested in Simmons. Really not interested in anyone else on Brooklyn, I don't think. Revenge game for Royce O'Neal, if you want to factor that in, but I'm not really looking to Royce O'Neal today. For now, the only guy that I'm really kind of interested in from Brooklyn, I guess, is Kyrie and maybe Claxton. But we'll have to monitor the injury report here. I know Brooklyn has rested guys on back-to-backs lately, so we'll have to see if they decide to rest anyone today. But then on the other side with Utah, so for the Jazz here, I don't really see much I like on the Jazz. I think the one guy that I do like is Walker Kessler, just because he's been playing so well lately. His minutes have been pretty good. He's been playing about 30, 32 minutes a night, and especially as of late, his production has been really good. 41, 37, 57, 38 DraftKings points. Brooklyn, historically, been a team you can kind of beat with centers. They have given up some big games to centers this season. Minutes should continue to be there for Kessler while Kelly Olynyk's out. So favorite play on Utah is definitely Walker Kessler. Lauri Markkanen, though, at 9,500, I'll pass on. Jordan Clarkson at his price tag, I'll probably pass on. Even at 6,900, not super interested in him. I think Kessler's the guy I like from Brooklyn or from Utah, and that's probably it. So let's go ahead and move on to the next game, Memphis and the Lakers. This one should be a lot of fun. Hopefully it can stay competitive. Hopefully the Lakers can keep this game close. If this game does stay close, I think it's one that has a lot of high-scoring upside. Two teams that definitely play fast. The Lakers, obviously a team that really struggles defensively. We'll start off with the Lakers. I think for the Lakers today, it's pretty straightforward. It's really just LeBron for me, and that's it. Not the best matchup for LeBron. This Memphis defense is really good. They're one of the better defensive teams in the league. But we know LeBron's going to have a massive role, massive workload. He's just been playing huge minutes. He has to do everything for the Lakers right now. Like, they just don't get any offense from anyone else. So the role is going to be great. The matchup's kind of tough, but if the Lakers keep this game close, obviously LeBron's going to be a big reason why. And you see, how consistent LeBron has been lately. 58, 61, 64, 74, 60. Like, he's basically getting you like 45, 50 DK points a night, even on his bad nights. So I still think LeBron at 11-3 is in play. I'm pretty much off the rest of the Lakers, though. It's really just LeBron that stands out, and that's it. Now, on the Memphis side with the Grizzlies, so this is a tough team to really gauge when they're fully healthy just because they have so many guys that can produce. Obviously, you have Ja, Triple J, Bane, Dylan Brooks. In this matchup, Ja Morant at 9,600, I really like today. Price tag's coming down a little bit. I know he's had some disappointing games lately. He's yet to top, when was the last time Ja had like 60 DraftKings points? He hasn't had 60 DraftKings points since, since December the 7th. It's been like over a month and a half since Ja has had over 60 DK points. This feels like one of those spots where we could definitely see a big game from Ja. The Lakers, again, they play fast. They don't play any defense. This is a really, really good matchup for Ja. I do worry about blowout, though. Can the Lakers keep it close? If they can, I think Ja offers a ton of upside, and he's definitely one of my favorite pay-up options today. And then Triple J, I think the matchup's pretty good for him. We obviously know that Triple J is an incredible shot blocker. I do worry about him guarding LeBron. If he's going to be the guy that guards LeBron, there's a lot of foul trouble risk there. But the guy's been really productive on a per-minute basis this season. When he's able to avoid foul trouble, he offers a ton of upside. So I definitely think Triple J is in play. Desmond Bane at 7K, I don't mind either. The matchup here is just so good that I think it's very likely that somebody from Memphis does well. If I had to pick anyone, my favorite guy would be Ja, but like Desmond Bane I think is fine. Triple J I think is fine. Even Steven Adams. We've seen the Lakers give up some really big games to centers. Steven Adams has been playing pretty decent minutes lately. He's been rebounding a ton. This is a spot where I definitely think he'll be able to dominate on the glass. He should be able to get a lot of putbacks. I could see this game going small and Steven Adams kind of gets played off the floor, but if he does get like 30 minutes, I wouldn't be surprised to see a really big game from Steven Adams if the minutes are there. But Dylan Brooks, I'll probably pass on even at 4,800. It's really just the top four guys I like from Memphis today. That'll do it for that game. We'll go ahead and talk about the last game of the night, OKC and Sacramento. So we'll start off on the OKC side. OKC, I think it's pretty easy to break down. It's really just SGA and then Giddey, and I think that's it from the Thunder. SGA at 9,700. I do have some interest in here. Price tag's coming down a little bit. Matchup against Sacramento is definitely favorable. Both these teams play really fast. Oklahoma City, second in pace this season. The Kings are sixth in pace. So this should be a very fast-paced, high-scoring game. Both these late-night games, this game and the Lakers game, should be really fast-paced, really high-scoring. I think SGA offers a lot of upside here. At 9,700, I do have some interest in him as a pay-up option today. I think Josh Giddey looks kind of appealing. I'm not really a big Giddey guy. I haven't played Giddey a ton this season, but He's been playing really, really well lately. He's been stuffing the stat sheet. His minutes have also been pretty good. He's been playing 30-plus minutes a night. As long as he avoids foul trouble and as long as this game stays close, I think we get like 33, 34 minutes from Giddey. And, you look at what his production's been lately, rebounding a ton, getting assists. He's got triple-double upside. So I definitely have some interest in him and, in what should be a really fast-paced, high-scoring game. Probably going to pass, though, on the rest of the Thunder. I know Kendrick Williams started at center last game, played 22 minutes, was really, really productive. I don't want to chase that. Like, I know Kendrick Williams has started multiple games this season, and in those games, he's just kind of been mediocre. Even though he had a big game last game, even if he does start at center again, I'm not really interested in him. It's really just Giddey and SGA I like from OKC. And then on the Sacramento side, so big news to keep an eye on here is Domantas Sabonis. Domantas Sabonis is questionable with an illness. He was a late scratch last game, did not wind up playing, and I'm pretty sure he did not practice on Thursday. So given that he didn't practice Thursday, I would say it's pretty likely Sabonis doesn't play here. First off, if Sabonis does play, the matchup against OKC is phenomenal. I mean, this is a spot where Sabonis should just be able to dominate. OKC really struggles giving up points in the paint. They struggle on the glass. They give up a lot of offensive rebounds, and Sabonis has just been killing everyone on the glass this season. He's been getting a ton of points in the paint. Would absolutely love Sabonis today if he plays. Now, it's a big if. We don't really know. Plus, coming back from an illness, we don't really know if he does play, will he be fully healthy? It's definitely a gamble, but man, if Sabonis is fully healthy for this matchup, like, he could absolutely crush. So I do have interest in him if he plays. If he doesn't play, then obviously, the guys that would benefit, De'Aaron Fox would benefit, Harrison Barnes would benefit, same with Herter. Value-wise, we would probably see, once again, Richaun Holmes start at center. Richaun Holmes' last game started at center. He played way more than I thought he would. I didn't think he would play a ton, but he played 31 minutes against the Lakers and was really productive, had 31 DK points. Obviously, matchup against OKC, as we said, is very good for bigs. The Thunder have given up huge games to centers all season, so if Holmes winds up starting at center again, I think he's going to be a really good value play. Right now, Holmes and Hartenstein look like two of the best values, and they're both centers, which is kind of, it's going to make it tough roster construction-wise, but I do like Holmes quite a bit if he does start again. I think Trey Lyles would get a little bit of a boost as well. Trey Lyles' last game played 21 minutes. I think his minutes will be a little bit more secure. Without Sabonis, I'd have some interest in him as a value, and I think the upside on De'Aaron Fox will be a lot higher. Now, matchup against OKC is not the best. OKC, they've actually been pretty solid defensively lately as a team. Lou Dort's probably going to guard Fox here, which is not the best matchup, but Fox's usage should be really, really good. Last game, he took 23 shots. He played 39 minutes. We would once again see him just have to really facilitate and do everything for this offense if Sabonis is out. So if Sabonis is out, really like Fox, really like Holmes, and I would have some interest in Trey Lyles as well. And then Barnes, Herter, I think would be playable too, but they would be more of a secondary options for me. And I think that'll do it for Sacramento, guys. And I think that does it for this, 9-game Friday night slate. So, as always, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Appreciate you watching. Make sure you hit that like button if you guys enjoyed. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And again, go check out PrizePicks, sponsor of the video. You guys can sign up for PrizePicks. It looks like the free square is available right now, and it's available all the way up until the game starts. So that's really cool. There's a free square available now. Luka Doncic's points is set at 0.5, and that will be available, it looks like, all the way up until tip-off. So take advantage of this free square, guys. It'll be available all the way, all Friday. Make sure that if you aren't signed up for PrizePicks yet, use that promo code NOAH when you do sign up, and you will get your first deposit matched up to $100. But best of luck on this Friday night slate, guys. Hope you all enjoy your weekend. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.